Hello, hello, hello. It's Lily Enrique here, the parenting strategist from the Parent Support Network. We are here today with you. Can you believe it's already episode 8? So this is my 8th week of doing this show each week. And the reason I do this is to actually help parents, support parents, grandparents, educators, and caregivers of children. So today our question is a good one. How do we get kids to listen, cooperate, and be respectful? So if you are listening in live or to the replay, let me know if you have had any challenges at all in your parenting relationship journey over the last however many years, getting kids to listen, cooperate, and be respectful. I think we probably would all be telling a bit of a porky pie if we said we never have, right? At some stage, we have had challenges getting our kids to listen, cooperate, and be respectful. So a few tips for you today. The first thing that is really, really important is to model the behavior that we want. I like to call it my law of mutuals. So if we want children to be respectful, for example, we have to be respectful to them. And we also have to show them being respectful out there with other family members and friends out there in the community. We have to model what being respectful is, right? We have to show them, respect when we're on the road, when we're talking to people out and about, whether it be the person at the checkout or, in any relationshiping that we do, we need to model the things that we want to grow in our children. So if we're wanting to model respect, we have to show them how to be respectful. If we're disrespectful and they see us being disrespectful, well, they're going to think that's how we are allowed to behave. If mum or dad or the other adult of influence is communicating in that way, well, then it's okay for me. If we want kids to listen to us, what do we need to do? We need to listen to them. So when they've got something to tell us, even if we're busy or, if we don't think it's something important, we need to give them the respect to listen to what they have to say. Or at least to be polite and say, look, I'm in the middle of this. Can you give me 5 minutes because I really want to be able to concentrate and listen to you properly. If we want kids to cooperate, we also need to model cooperation. We need to show them what being cooperative means. We need to cooperate with others that they see us relationshiping with, and we need to cooperate with them as well, because that law of mutuals, you cannot expect your children to do something that you are not displaying or doing. Otherwise, it's pretty hypocritical, right? So the other interesting thing with this is that we often try and teach our children rules or ways that we want them to do things. We often teach them this in an upside down way. So when you think about it, when was the last, whether you call it lecture or sermon or advice or communication that you gave your children about respect? Was it during or just after they were being disrespectful? So, for example, was that child disrespectful? And then you went straight in with the sermon. It's not nice to be disrespectful. You need to respect other people. It's not a good quality to be disrespectful. You don't like being disrespected, neither do other people. And we come in with that. And sometimes it could even be a really polite sermon. We really need to be kind and thoughtful to each other. And you were just disrespectful to dad. And that's not really, that's not really nice to show disrespect. We show respect to you. So you should be respectful to us. And we tend to come in and energize the thing that we're trying to grow whilst it's happening or just after it's happening. And from the kids' perspective, that's giving them the juicy connection and relationship at a time when they weren't behaving in an ideal way. So what we really need to do is switch that around and actually take every opportunity where, for example, if we're trying to teach respect or we want to grow respect, we need to take every little opportunity where the child is being respectful. or even taking a little baby step closer to being respectful if they have been disrespectful. So it might be something like they've not been listening to you, and then, you know, you might say something to them, and for 30 seconds they stopped, looked you in the eyes and listened. So you might say, I really want to acknowledge you for listening in this moment. I know you'd rather be doing other things, but you've stopped, you're listening to me. And that really shows me that you're being respectful. I love that you are showing the greatness of respect in this moment. So that not only do they know they've done a great thing, but they know that what they've done is being respectful. Stopping, looking you in the eyes and listening is being respectful. So you're actually teaching them, and you're giving them energy in that moment for something positive, right? For something they've done well. Even if 30 seconds prior they were being disrespectful, but you're waiting for the opportunity, or even what we like to call hijacked them, so that you can recognize them for them being respectful in that moment. And the same goes for listening. You might have been asking them to do something and they just not listening to you, and you're going, please stop when I'm talking to you. I need you to listen. I want you to do such and so and such and so. So once again, you're endeavoring to get them to cooperate with you at a time, and you're energizing them at a time when they're not moving towards what you want them to do. So you need to find that little opportunity, that little window where they do maybe even stop. I can see that you're busy. I know you've got other things on the go, but I see you've just stopped, you've turned around, you're looking at me, ready to listen. And I really appreciate that you are taking, you know, a few seconds to stop and listen to me. All I wanted to know was to let you know ABC, whatever it is. And that's showing them in that moment that once again, they're being respectful and that they're listening. So rather than, you know, nagging on at them when they're not listening, you never listen. Why don't you listen? I want to tell you such and so, but you're not listening. Stop, listen. You know, wait for them to just take that little baby step towards listening, even if it's just a quick pause, eyes on you. You know, they've turned their head maybe on their way somewhere, but they've stopped and paused. So use that little opportunity to hijack them there, to appreciate them for stopping and listening. Same with cooperation, right? If you want your kids to cooperate, once again, model it, show them that you're being cooperative, and find opportunities where they are cooperating. I love how you are playing so nicely with your brother. I know you'd rather be doing other things, you know, but it really shows me that you're being cooperative, you're being kind to your little brother, and you're cooperating with him to help him build his blocks. You know, that really shows me not only that you're a great big sister, but also that you have the amazing greatness of being cooperative. Thank you so much for showing cooperation in this moment. And I mean, that's giving them juicy energy for doing something they're normally doing. And in many of those instances, we would not come in with that recognition if they were playing nicely together. If big sister was playing with little brother, helping him with these blocks, you go, phew, they're playing quietly. I'll just leave them at it. You know, I'm not going to go in and give them any energy or give them any relationship. They're quiet. I might say, you know, thank you or a good job, which we call junk food praise. I'm not saying it's not good, but you only get so much nourishment from junk food. But if you really want good nourishment, you have to give juicy praise. So often when the kids are being cooperative, we tend to just not recognize them, right? Or it might be just junk food praise. But then as soon as they stop being cooperative, then we've got the time to come in. Then we've got the time to come in with the lecture, the nagging, the yelling, the screaming, the threatening. Then we've got the time to give that juicy relationship in a negative way when they're not being cooperative. Whereas if we want to teach them cooperation, we need to acknowledge them and recognize them with heartfelt, juicy recognition when they are doing that thing that you're trying to teach, or when they're moving towards it. So it's like that upside down, right side up philosophy that I often talk about. Energize what you want whilst it's happening to help that child learn that they get the best relationship connection and energy from you when they are doing the right thing or moving towards the right thing. You can't teach respect by lecturing them when they're not being respectful. You might think they're listening, but it's not going to go in, and it's not going to be as effective as teaching them about respect when they are being respectful or moving closer towards being respectful. And we really have to think about, in all of our interactions, in all of our communications, what are we energizing? What are we giving most energy to? Because when you think about it, all relationships are based on energy, whether we use spoken words or whether we just use facial expressions. I mean, I don't have to speak to go, you can see my energy, you can see that I'm angry or I'm upset or what have you. I don't even need to speak words. Sometimes our eyes pop and our mouth opens and our face goes red and our arms and hands go everywhere because, why did you, you can see, we don't even necessarily have to use words. And sometimes the energy actually, is there even when they can't see us. They can sense the energy. They can sense what we're feeling and how we're feeling. So it really, really is important to be very mindful of your energy and to energize the things that you want to grow more of. I talk about this analogy all the time, but repetition is the mother of all learning. If I take that back again to, if you want to grow your beautiful flowers and plants, veggies and herbs out in the garden, you're going to get your watering can or your hose. You're going to put all the beautiful nutrition in because you want them to grow. So you're going to give them attention, you're going to give them water, you're going to give them love, you might speak to them nicely to encourage them to grow, you're going to give them some nutrition, which is recommended for growing that plant, and you're going to nurture those plants because you want them to grow. You wouldn't take your water and your nutrition that you've bought from the nursery that's cost you money to put into a watering can to take out into the yard and water the weeds. We just wouldn't do that, right? Because we don't want the weeds to grow, unless we're using weed killer. We don't want the weeds to grow, so we're not going to nourish and nurture the weeds. We don't want them to grow. We want the beautiful plants and flowers and herbs and veggies to grow. So it's the same with our relationships. Remember, whenever you're giving energy to something, ask yourself, what is it I really want? And is this something I want to grow? Do I want to grow and help my child to understand what being respectful is? Model it, praise it, recognize it when it's happening, show them, find the opportunities to embrace them for being respectful in every little way you can, or for listening, acknowledge them for listening, acknowledge them for cooperating, and use the opportunities when they're doing that to grow that strength. What we do in the Nurtured Heart approach, which is what I teach, is we grow what we call inner wealth. So inner wealth is kind of it's about really having the person know really who they are. It's sort of a combination of self-esteem, self-worth, self-love, self-respect. And it's kind of like, I know who I am as a person. I know that I'm a respectful person because I'm told I'm respectful. I know that I'm cooperative because I'm told and acknowledged for being cooperative. I know that I can listen when I need to because I'm acknowledged and recognized for being a good listener. So acknowledge the things, grow the things that you want more of. And it's really about, changing our thinking, because it's almost like, a generational thing, right? That's been happening for generations. We learn how to communicate, relationship and parent from our parents. So much of that it comes to us instinctively just because of the way we were raised, or maybe we might seek advice from other parenting coaches or books, etc. But, mostly we run on autopilot, don't we, when we think about how we communicate and relationship, particularly with our children. So another quick thing that I'll just finish off on is the reset. So the reset is a part of the Nurtured Heart approach. So in the Nurtured Heart approach, we have 3 stands. Stand 1 is absolutely no, not giving energy, attention, excuse me, or relationship to the things that we don't want to grow, that we don't want more of. We've just been talking about that. Stand 2 is absolutely yes. Giving beautiful, juicy, connected relationship and energy when things are going right or moving towards going right. Stand 3 is absolute clarity. So that's about having clarity around the rules and the consequences. And it also is about the reset. So sometimes if we are escalated in some way, if we're upset with what's going on or feeling angry or just irritated, kids aren't listening, they're not being respectful, they're not cooperating, instead of coming in and giving them that connected relationship in that moment, teach your kids, but teach yourself firstly how to reset. So that might just be a matter of, okay, I can't come into this positively at the moment, so I'm just going to reset myself, whatever that takes. It might take 10 seconds of just taking some deep breaths. It might mean turning away and just, refocusing on your energy and where you want to place that. It might be, hey kids, I need to reset myself, walk out into the backyard, take your shoes off, put your feet on the ground, get some grounding, or put your happy music on, or whatever that takes. We can also teach the children to reset as well, so that in time they will learn to self-regulate, because no matter how diligent we are, it's human nature. We're not going to be cooperative 100% of the times. We're not going to be listening 100% of the times. We're not going to be respectful 100% of the times. And that goes for kids, adolescents, and adults, right? But it's a matter of knowing if you're not in that positive place to respond or to not energize that negativity, we need to reset. We can also ask our children to reset. So once again, they'll learn the reset by us modeling it. But we can say, okay, guys, I need you to reset. And then they will have their own way of resetting. So for them, it could be taking some deep breaths. It could be squeezing, a squeezy ball. It could be, jumping up and down, or it might be shaking themselves, or it might be just closing their eyes and teaching them to sort of do a little meditation thing as well. So I hope that was helpful today. How do we get our kids to listen, cooperate, and be respectful? First of all, we model it for them. We teach the rules and the attitudes that we want to grow when they are doing that thing. So being respectful, listening, cooperating, not when they're not doing it. So we don't come in with the lecture, the sermon, the consequences and everything when they're breaking that rule or not being respectful or cooperative or listening. So turn it right side up. Watch where your energy is going. Be sure to energize the things that you want more of. Look at our thinking. We might need to change our thinking, and it can take some time, and learn the reset. So that's it from me today. Hope that was helpful for you. Please pop some comments in the comment box. If you're on live, please say hello. If you're catching the replay, pop a hashtag replay so I know you're catching the replay. And please just give me some quick feedback as to whether, were those tips helpful for you? Is that something that you feel you could go and work on or implement? So Lily and Reiki, that's episode 8 today for Parent Support Network TV and parenting strategists, helping to equip parents to enjoy happy and healthy children and relationships on purpose. Bye for now, and I'll see you next week.